Frieren keeps getting better. Shortly after Sign departed from the party, we enter this Shunin exam arc where Frieren and Fern are trying to become first-class mages. I was initially a bit apprehensive because one of the things I like the most about Frieren is the chemistry between the main group, and so to put Stark on the bench and to give way to, on Frieren's side, two quibbling interns, and on Fern's team these two psychopaths, was not a story decision that I was very much excited about. Thankfully, the series managed to prove me wrong yet again, as this arc has not only been very entertaining, it also manages to progress Fern and Frieren's characters in the most obvious way, which is to have them interact with people outside their comfort zone, people outside of the group. As Fern rightly noted a few episodes back, Frieren's party is not exactly super sociable. They're about as sociable as a criminal in a police station. We have Frieren, who is definitely on the magic spectrum. We have Fern, who is very cold and distant and overly polite towards others and may or may not peek through your clothes. And then we have Stark, a man that's such a pushover that with an aggressive enough seller he would probably buy sand in a desert. So by taking our magic ladies and putting them into awkward situations where they have to team up and interact with people they don't know, we as an audience get to see another side of them and truly explore who they are as characters. Being completely honest, I still don't care a lot about the two bickering interns that Frieren teamed up with, but seeing her mentor them and guide them along in a different way than she does with Frieren and Stark was still highly entertaining. I love that Frieren always manages to flex her abilities not by being overly standoffish or cocky or arrogant, but simply by being true to her nature. She thought that it was unfair the intern could not use water magic, so she simply disabled the barrier, making it rain on the entire field and giving her a lot of water, because of course that's just what a normal mage would do. She manages to care for her partner while showing her absolute love of magic and just how overpowered she is compared to most mages. I love the scene kept building up the other two first-class mages saying there's no way anyone can disable the barrier, and lo and behold, Frieren can, because of course she can. Fern, on the other hand, keeps it very professional and polite, but deep down you can see that she is mentored by two members of the hero's party. She leaves her opponent alive, even though the rational choice would probably be the opposite, and she manages to bluff it incredibly well. It is in interacting with other people that you can see that Fern truly only shows her emotions around the main group and not towards other people she doesn't know. My fellow introvert Fern is truly a relatable character, but more than her interactions, I love her way of fighting, because it always seemed off to me that in a world as expansive as Frieren's, where there's apparently a spell for everything, that they always just fight using basic Zoltrak and defensive spells. And I get it, in every game and sport, sometimes the meta can become quite effective but quite boring to watch, so I like the variety. I like seeing all of these cool, innovative powers of all these mages and how much it contrasts to Frieren's and Fern's. More importantly, we can see that although perhaps outdated, the things that Frieren has taught Fern are still very effective in combat. Although boring and predictable, it is always useful and effective, unlike some more conditional magics that we saw, for example water magic and binding magic, which may not always be available or super helpful in a given situation. They remind me of those fighters that fight very by the book, but their fundamentals are so strong that they just cannot be beaten. While everyone else is going for the flashiest flying armbar, Fern is just sticking behind the jab and piling on the pressure. A fighting anime with Frieren's characters would be very cool, and that's all I'm saying. Anyway, back to the topic, we can also see that Fern is a very good student because she is talented and really stuck to Frieren's teachings, because she is very young and inexperienced compared to some of the mages in this trial, and yet she is doing very well, and that's a testament to both her capabilities as a mage, and Frieren's teachings. This arc also introduces many interesting mages, giving the audience a chance to actually see some spells that aren't just Zoltrak and the basic defensive spell, and to me, between all of these eccentric mages, the ones I like the most are Wirbel and Denken. Wirbel is a character that seems initially like the token edgy character, but slowly we see there's more than meets the eye with him. I hope that he gets explored further, but from what we've seen at this point in time, I like him already. There's almost a parallel between him and warriors like Aizen and Stark. He is not brave in the sense that he has fear, he hesitates whenever he's in battle, but still he acts it out nonetheless. He pushes through the fear and does what he has to do. I like that they keep reiterating this theme of courage with even a mage character that perhaps wouldn't be thought of as brave as a frontline fighter. And speaking of brave, my man Denken is a real gangster. To me, this is by far the character that my opinion switched the most after the latest episodes. Denken initially seemed very arrogant and self-absorbed, but you quickly see that he's very intentional in everything he does and very thoughtful about his every move. He always makes the rational choice, and unlike the other mages, he doesn't like bullying or unnecessary conflict, even going as far as telling his partner to spare the interns. And surprisingly, Denken's attitude towards magic really mirrors Frieren's, where he thinks the pursuit of magic has value in itself and he doesn't want power for the sake of it. He's taking the exam not for vain intentions, but because he wants to do something that requires that title. Seeing him act so intelligently and struggling so much almost makes the audience root for him against Frieren. Almost. Despite the red herring of Frieren previously saying she has lost against humans before, I never actually believed she would lose, so there's that, but still, because Denken put so much effort and because the fight was so visually stunning, it was still very entertaining. Denken saw that he would never win a battle of attrition, and so he tried to blow her out with a big spell, and honestly, even though it didn't work, I like his plan, it's smart. From what we've seen in the series, I just can't imagine Frieren losing in a battle by just running out of magic, and so I expect her, if she loses on screen, keep in mind I haven't read the manga, if she loses on screen, I expect her to lose like that, just get blown out by a big spell and not have a chance to react. And after the fight was over was where Denken shined the most, because even though he lost, he refused to quit. He did not quit until he exhausted all his options, and even though he can be seen as a bit of a snobby old man, the show makes it very easy to root for him. And then the moment came, big man Denken with no mana left just slapping meat with another dude. Now that's what I'm here for. There's something about a dude with a monocle just banging with another dude that just rocks. And if you told me before the episode that in an episode with epic fights and gorgeous spells, my favorite scene would be of a senior citizen brawling like a hooligan, I would have told you, actually, I would have told you that is very likely because just the description sounds awesome. So the first class examination arc has been phenomenal. Of course I'm rooting for the main girls, but now I'm rooting for Denken as well because that man is raw and I love it. And this was it for me today, folks. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao!